A shalom to the elect. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. All right, Yahweh is one of the world ignorantly calls God. Yah means he, and Hawa means to be or exist. So Yahweh's name means he is, or he to be, or he exists. All right, and Yahweh is not a so-called white man. He's a so-called black man. All right, and Bahashem means in the name. Ba means in. Salaki Ha means the. And Shem means name. And Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Messiah. Okay, Yahweh Shai is the one of the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Yah means he, and Yahweh Shai means save or deliver. Okay, and Yahweh Shai also is not a so-called white man. He's a so-called black man. All right, Bahashem, once again meaning in the name, and Rakha Kodash meaning Holy Spirit. Rakha meaning spirit, and Kodash meaning holy. So I said all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. In the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone that we well. And they're the ones I learned this truth from. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. So I'm just going to go here in the Deuteronomy 33, and just hit some points, man. I heard Apostles of Har, say this, so I'm going to, that's the word I'm looking for. I heard Apostle Hart say this, so, I'm going to pass it down, It's pretty much, I was, wanted to do a lesson, but I didn't know exactly what to do. So he was saying, if you, got a lesson in mind to do, then, just go into a chapter, break it down pretty much, So I'm just going to, go to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. All right, in this chapter, okay, this is also another chapter that pinpoints to who the real Israelites are, okay? So this is also a good chapter. You got Genesis 49, Deuteronomy 28. Those are some really, good chapters that, really, key chapters, that really pinpoint who the Israelites are. So Deuteronomy 33, starting in verse 1, it says, "And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of the Most High, blessed the children of Israel before his death." Okay? And Moses, okay, all right, was a Hebrew Israelite of the tribe of Levi, okay, which Levi, would be you so-called Haitians. All right, verse 2, it says, "And he said, Yahweh came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them, and it says, and he shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them." And that part is going into, how, pretty much the Lord, it's pretty much going to that the laser beam from the chariot right there, where it was writing on those two tables of stone. Okay. Let me see if I can get it real quick. Exodus 32. Let me cross the street real quick. Matter of fact, Exodus. Slovakia. Let me just type it in precept. All right. Here we go. Exodus 31 and 18. And it says, "And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of the Most High." And that finger of the Most High is a laser beam from the chariot, all right? That rode upon it. So Moses, wasn't, chiseling the rock for that, all right? It was a laser beam from the chariot that was writing that, okay? So back in Deuteronomy 33 and verse 3, it says, "Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive of thy words. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. And he was king in Jeshurun when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together." And I got a note here. So this shows, it says he was king in Jeshurun. So this shows that Moses was the first king over Israel. All right. It says, and he was king in Jeshurun. Talk about Moses. when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together. Verse 6, let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few. And Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indians, right? Verse 7, and this is the blessing of Judah. Judah are the so-called Negroes, okay? And he said, hear Yahweh, the voice of Judah. And by the way, it's a thought just came to mind, it came to mind to bring out pretty much, you can, you're an Israelite. Once again, as brothers have already said, but you're an Israelite no matter what. Well, hold on, Salakia. Let me say it like this: it doesn't matter what you look like. Okay, if your father and his father, so on and so forth, go back to being an Israelite, then you're an Israelite. Okay, so for example, you may have a Judite, okay, who looks like a Edomite, or a so-called white man, but you wouldn't know it for his looks, okay? But his father's line goes back, to the tribe of Judah, For example, look at Andrew Tate, I remember on Fresh and Fit, I believe somebody called Andrew Tate a white man, but Andrew Tate, man, he was saying how his father, was black, and if you're, and you could be another, let me say, I'm trying to find the right words to say what I'm trying to say. Pretty much, for example, you pretty much, I'm gonna just say it like that, okay? You are an Israelite, if your father's line and his father, if your father and his father, etc., go back to being an Israelite, So let's keep going. It says, and this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear Yahweh, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. See that? And bring him unto his people. Because, and that's talking, pretty much, talking about, pretty much, Judah would be brought to the rest of his people over here in the western hemisphere of the earth. The other tribes, already, the northern kingdom was already over here on the western hemisphere of the earth. All right. So Judah, had to be brought over here, by way of what? Those cargo slave ships. All right. Brought from, let me say brought to this side of the earth, man. Okay. To bring him to the other tribes. All right, let me get precept. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And it says, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. See that? And that Egypt is talking about America. All right. And them ships is talking about them cargo slave ships. So, hey, the Lord brought, Jake over here on those cargo slave ships, man. Did not, so-called blacks get put on those cargo slave ships. Did not that happen? Yes, it did. All right. And there's proof and evidence and facts and books and history that all show it. All right. And this also shows that we're the Israelites. Okay. Because when you go to Deuteronomy 28 and 45, right, it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. Right? Talking about the curses, verse 46, and they, the curses, shall be upon thee, the Israelites, for a sign. See that? And for a wonder, see, so it said for a sign. Pause right there, it said for a sign. A sign for what? To show that we're the Israelites. And one of those curses was that we would get put on, one of those curses was those cargo slave ships, man. Being packed like sardines on those cargo slave ships. That was one of the curses. So that even in itself shows, that so-called Negroes are also Israelites. Okay? It says, they shall be upon thee for a sign. These curses, these curses, these curses apply to you, you could tell that you're, pretty, so like, let me say it again. If these curses apply to you, you're Israelite, and we can look at what people, what nation, on the earth, or people, on the earth this applies to. And it applies to you so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Seminole Indians, right? So Deuteronomy 33 and verse 7 again, it says, Salakia says, and this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, Salakia says, and this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear Yahweh, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. And let his hands be sufficient for him. And be thou an help to him from his enemies. Okay, verse 8. And of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove in Massah, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah. And Levi are you so-called Haitians. Okay. Verse 9. And what I was trying to say before, pretty much, I'm going to just use Levi as an example. All right, this goes for all the tribes of Israel. All right. You could be a so-called Haitian, pretty much, I was just trying to say this, add this in there as well. Say, you have a so-called Haitian, and he could be anywhere on the earth, For example, he could be out in Russia, he could be out in Africa. What that noise was. All right, but he could be out in Russia, he could be out in Africa. I'm just, saying, if he was just over there in those different places, I don't stop him from being an Israelite. So I was trying to say pretty much, I don't want somebody to see this video and think only the people that's only in these specific places, like for example, all right, the tribe of Levi are the so-called Haitians, right? I don't want somebody to think, that, okay, only the people that's in Haiti right now are the so-called Haitians. No, the so-called Haitians, all right, they're Levites, man, all right? Let me just get this scripture real quick. Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. And it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. See? So you are what your father is. Your nationality, or your, if you like to be technical, your ethnicity and stuff, all right? Depends on what your father is, not your mother. Your mother's ethnicity does not count. All right? Let me continue. Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. You know what? It's like I could have got some precepts before. All right, but I'm just get the I'm gonna start with Levi. Some precepts. Genesis chapter 49, and get right to the point. Starting in verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Now it says Simeon and Levi. Simeon, are you so-called, the tribe of Simeon, are you so-called Dominicans? All right. Levi, once again, are you so-called Haitians? It says our brethren. Now all the tribes of Israel, all the 12 tribes of Israel are brothers, right? But this specifically means, Salakia for that noise, but this specifically means that the tribe of Levi and the tribe of Simeon, they both dwell on the same island. All right, which is what? The island of Hispaniola. On the left side of the island, you have Haiti. On the right side of the island, you have the Dominican Republic. All right? It says instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. And what is that talking about? That's talking about the voodoo, Santeria, and all that goes on that island. Okay? The witchcraft, the voodoo, all that. Sometimes, man, it's like just adding this in there, just dealing with, a Dominican woman and stuff, they cross my mind some of the time, to be thinking, if they be doing, just adding a little chuckle in there, but, just cross my mind sometimes to be thinking, if they be doing that witchcraft shit, man. All right. Verse 6, O my soul, come not thou into their secret. All right. Their secret is talking about their voodoo. On Levi's side, which is Haiti. On Levi's side of the island, they have voodoo. On the Simeon side, which is the Dominican Republic, they have the same thing, but it's called Santeria and Brujeria. All right. Oh my soul, come not down to their secret. The secret, we just went into that. The secret is unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united. You see, be not thou unite. Oh, Salakia, hold on. Let me just see if I got something for that. Okay. Yeah, it says unto their assembly, my honor, be not thou united. Be not thou united. What does that mean? Pretty much, it's talking about how so-called Haitians and Dominicans, they don't like each other, man. They they don't get along. And also, even this is just something the elder Kazak brought out. That island, it has a river called the Massacre River, and it literally divides Dominican Republic and Haiti. Okay, it says, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. All right. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. And that is talking about, so like, I'm trying to find it. It's Genesis 34, starting at verse 25. And it says, and it came to pass on the third day. Slakia, there's some noise. It says, and it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Slakia, it says, and it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword and came upon the city boldly and slew all the males. Verse 36, and they slew Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out. So that's what it's referring to. Okay. Going back. Genesis 49, verse 7, cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. All right, so back in Deuteronomy 33. Deuteronomy 33 and verse 9, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments and Israel thy law. They shall put incense before thee and hold burnt sacrifice upon thine altar. Verse 11, bless Yahweh his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. And this is going into, it says smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. This is going into, I was going to read a note here. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him. It's talking about what the so-called Haitians did to the French, by way of Toussaint Louverture. It says, and them that hate him, that they rise not again. The so-called Haitians, they beat the French, And this is going into what? That I believe it's called the Haitian Revolution, but pretty much, when the Haitians beat the French, okay? With Toussaint Louverture. I forget the exact name of it. Right? Verse 12, and of Benjamin, he said, Benjamin in the Hebrew is Bunyamin, which means son of the right. Bun meaning son, and I believe Yimyan meaning right. So son of the right. It's like you gotta double check on that word Yimyan. All right, but that's pretty much what it means. Okay. Benjamin, he said, the beloved of Yahweh shall dwell in safety by him, and Yahweh shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. Verse 33, and of Joseph, he said, and of Joseph, all right, is interchangeable with Ephraim. I'm going to prove that. Oh, Salaki, before I go to that, I almost forgot. with Benjamin. This is the book of Genesis 49 and verse 27, and it says, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. And when you look at that word raven, all right, let me just see if I could get it right now. I don't know if I can, but raven. It's gonna pop up. Damn. Let me see. Maybe I gotta spell it like this. Raven. Alright. Salakia. But it goes into meaning an utterance. Okay? That's what it goes into meaning, an utterance. Alright? And pretty much Benjamin, being a so-called West Indians, you have different songs, that they sing, about America going down, like, about Babylon falling. Babylon is America, like you have this one song. I like this song, man. It's called, I forget the name of it, but it's like Babylon falling down. There's a lot of songs like, that talk about that, man, but this is a part of this prophecy right here, about Benjamin. Okay. Now going back to, Joseph. Now Joseph once again is interchangeable with Ephraim. Numbers chapter 1, verse 32. And it says, Salakia. And it says, of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim. You see? I'm going to pause right there. Of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim. Okay? And Joseph, so Joseph had two sons. So he had Ephraim and Manasseh as well. Just adding that in there as well. Okay? But, going back here, Deuteronomy 33. In Ephraim are you so-called Puerto Ricans. Okay, in this scripture I'm about to read for Joseph, it's also, it also can go with, the tribe of Manasseh, which are you so-called Cubans. Okay, Deuteronomy 33 and 13. Joseph, he said, blessed of Yahweh be his land, and once, that land is talking about Puerto Rico, for the precious things of heaven, for the dew and for the deep that couches beneath, and for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, okay, and for the precious things put forth by the moon. Yeah, because the island of Puerto Rico, it's a very beautiful land, man. Adding this for edification's sake, I've literally seen with my own eyes how beautiful Puerto Rico is, man. I've actually been there, and it is a beautiful land. You even have this frog that chirps at night called the coqui, and the way the frog chirps, I looked this, saw this online. The way the frog chirps, it chirps a certain way. It's there's a certain, meaning to its chirp, okay? And Puerto Rico has bioluminescent waters, man. It's a beautiful island, man, for real. The scriptures say how Ephraim dwell in a pleasant place. Let me just get it real quick. Hosea 9 and 13. Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place. See that? But Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. Okay, and also, once again, this goes for, you so-called Cubans as well. All right, in this chapter I'm reading Deuteronomy 33 regarding Joseph. Okay, because the island of Cuba, all right, they have nice beaches. Okay, you even got certain trees over there. All right, that's beautiful. All right, and it said back here, verse 14, and for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, you got precious fruits of Puerto Rico like papayas, pineapple, etc. Okay. You know? You know, and also, but yeah, you know, so this is going, you know, also goes into Cuba as well. Verse 15, Deuteronomy 33 and 15, and for the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills. Okay? And also, you know, regarding Cuba, Cuba has 3 major mountain ranges. In the west, the Sierra de los Orangos, if I'm saying that right, in the south central region, the Sierra de Trinidad, which also is called the Escambray Mountains in English. In the east, Cuba's tallest mountains are the Sierra Maestra. All right, if I'm saying that right. You know? You so-called Cubans, you're Israelites as well. Hebrew Israelites, okay? How you I see saying they saying they just Israelites. Man, get out of here. You Hebrew Israelites, man. Verse 16, for the precious things of the earth and fullness thereof, and for the good will of him that dwelt in the bush, the blessing come upon the head of Joseph and upon the top of him that was the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. Verse 17, his glory is like the firsting of his bullock, and his horns like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. See? And this is twofold. Number one, you know, Ephraim, you know, he led the tribe Ephraim, you know, led the other tribes, you know, to the western side of the earth. Okay? You know, Ephraim led the other tribes to Arsareth. And also, Ephraim, you know, you got a lot of Ephraimites and Manassites, you know, teaching the word to gather the tribes, man. All right, and let me get the one in Genesis. I'm not gonna be able to finish this because my battery is low. Got 4%. Genesis 49, getting right to the point. Genesis 49 and about Ephraim, verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bow. This is once again talking about Ephraim. Okay, this one, you know, specifically, you know, this one is really going, you know, more so in Ephraim. In the Hebrew, Ephraim is a parim, which means I am fruitful. It says Joseph is a fruitful bow. Even a fruitful bow by a well said Joseph is a fruitful bow. How about you so-called Puerto Ricans? You like to have lots of children, you know? You see? So-called Puerto Ricans like to have lots of children, man. Even a fruitful bow by a well. Because, you know, by the island of Puerto Rico, it's a lot of water. Puerto Rico surrounded by water, man, whose branches run over the wall. And it's talking about, you know, so-called Puerto Ricans coming, you know, believe what was the time frame? Yeah, you know, in the 1940s, coming to America, you know, to live a better life. Okay? Verse 23, the archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him, talking about the Spaniards. Verse 24, but his bow abode in strength, and the bow is talking about, you know, his testes, his rod, you know, pretty much, you know, the Lord still preserved their seed, okay? The Lord still preserved, you know, the Ephraimites, man, you know. You know, even though the Spaniards had killed lots of them, you know, the Lord preserved their seed. It says, but his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty power of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Verse 25, even by the power of thy father who shall help thee, and by the Almighty who shall bless thee with the blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast and the womb. You know, that's also going into the how Puerto Rico, you know, is, you know, was you know, got, you know, exotic rainforest. Yeah, you know. Another thing, Puerto Rico has an exotic rainforest, etc., man. You know, like I said in Deuteronomy 33, you know, going into the land, island of Puerto Rico. So continuing on, Deuteronomy 33 and 18. And of Zebulon, he said, Zebulon are the, you know, so-called Guatemalans, the Panamanians. All right. You know, trying to remember the top of my head. Yeah, the people of Central America. Okay, you know, it says rejoice, Zebulon, and not going out, and Issachar and thy tents, and Issachar. All right. Oh, by the way, Zebulon in the Hebrew is a Balawan, which means dwelling, and Issachar in the Hebrew is Yeshashakar, which means he is hired. And the tribe of Issachar are you so-called Mexicans. All right. So it says, you know, so pretty much, you know, they used to coexist. Okay. The Mayans and Aztecs. Okay. Verse 19, they shall call the people unto the mountain There they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, for they shall succor the abundance of the seas and of treasures hidden in the sand. You know, and that part, the latter part, pretty much going into how those Mayans and Aztecs, those Zebulonites and Issacharites, were rich. While you have people like Hernando Cortez looking for gold in those areas. Okay? You see? Verse 20, and of Gad he said, and let me see my battery. Okay, still got some juice. Still got some juice in the box. All right, Genesis 49 and 13. It says, Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be under Zidon. All right, Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, man. All right. So he shall be in haven for ships, talking about the Panama Canal, where a lot of trade and commerce happens, man. You can look it up, study, man. Go actually look on the map, actually for yourself. Type in Panama Canal, look it up on the map, man. And you can see, okay, a lot, and you could type in what happens at the Panama Canal, and it tells you, man. Also, haven or harbor, so a port. And once again, it's talking about the Panama Canal, and its border shall be under Zidon, talking about the Olmec heads. All right, King Solomon's navy, along with the navy of Hiram, left in Central America. They left the Olmec heads as landmarks, when they would come back to Arsareth and gather resources. All right. And then Issachar, once again, verse 14, Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens. Issachar, so-called Mexicans. A strong ass, meaning that, they're hard workers. Couching down between two burdens, because you look on the map, Mexico is right in between, North America and Central America. And, so couching down between two burdens, man. Two burdens is, once again, North America and Central America. Mexico is right in between, And, yeah, Verse 15, and he saw that rest was good in the land, that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulders bare, and became a servant of the tribute. All right. Back in Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. And verse 20, and it says, and of Gad he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. Gad, he that enlargeth Gad is Yahweh where Yahweh Shai. All right. And Gad are you so-called North American Indians. Okay. The Lord enlarged them, said he dwelt as a lion, because the tribe of Gad, they have a lot of land. The lions have a lot of land, like a lion in the Sahara, but the tribe of Gad, so-called North American Indians, they have, they had a lot of land, man, from Canada all the way down, to like the southern, to the bottom part of North America. Okay. And teareth the arm, blood brother covenant, with the crown of the head, talking about that feather bonnet, that you see, so-called Native Americans wear. You see that? It says he provided the first part of himself, because there in a portion of the lawgiver was he seated, and he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of Yahweh and his judgments with Israel. All right, and let me just get this one. Genesis 49, 14, Salakia, 19. It says, Gad or troops shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. And that troop that overcame Gad is talking about, that U.S. cavalry, all right, which was, the so-called white man, E. Pretty much. All right, but continuing on, verse 22. And of Dan he said, Dan as a lion's whelp he shall leap from Bashan. Dan is no longer part of the tribes of Israel. When you read Revelation 7, and it tells you, it lists who the 12 tribes of Israel are, man. 12 tribes of Israel. All right. It lists who the 12 tribes of Israel are in Revelation 7, and you'll see Dan is not mentioned. So Dan is no longer, part of the 12 tribes of Israel. Don't worry about Dan. Don't worry about the tribe of Dan. Listen to these other Israelites saying, what about Dan? What about Dan? Don't worry about that. Because, the Lord did not list them in Revelation the 7th chapter. Okay? So, continuing on, Deuteronomy 33 and 23. And of Naphtali, he said, Naphtali satisfied with favor. Naphtali are the so-called Argentinians and Chileans. Satisfied with favor and full with the blessing of Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushai, possess thou the west and the south. All right? And if you possess thou the west and the south, if you go to the western part of the world, the western hemisphere, and the southern part of the Americas, all the way at the bottom, you're going to find Argentina and Chile. All right? See, so this is biblical, man. Okay? We have the truth. brothers here in GMS had the truth, man. GMS has the truth. 100% truth. Verse 24, and of Asher, he said, and Asher, you know, you so-called South Americans, you know, not, once again, not Argentina and Chile. I know Argentina and Chile are part of South America, but that's a whole different tribe, okay? Asher, you know, are the people from, I believe, Colombia to Uruguay. I'm saying that right? You know, those South Americans. So, for example, you know, some of them would be what, the so-called Colombians, Venezuelans, Ecuadorians. I believe Ecuador is in South America. Salaki if I'm wrong. Peru, I believe, is in South America as well. Salaki if I'm wrong. I already said, let Asher be blessed with children. Right, they have a lot of children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, because you got the Amazonian tribes, you know. And let him dip his foot in oil, okay, because that ground, you know, that the tribe of Asher is on down there in South America, you know, has a lot of mineral and resources, man. All right, so thy shoes shall be iron and brass, you know. Oh, and by the way, also said let him dip his foot in oil, because what? Atlanta, South America down there has one of the largest oil reserves, I believe, in the world. All right, so thy shoes shall be iron and brass. You know, that land, okay, that Asher is on. All right, you know, rich in minerals and resources. And as thy days, so thy strength be. So they, you know, like the, you know, like Caleb, you know, lived long lives, and you know, are still in their full strength, or still in strength, you know. All right, and that's pretty much that. All right, you know, just wanted to hit, you know, go into the tribes real quick, you know. And it's good to know this, man, because, you know, once again, you know, you know, I believe Apostle Gabar said, repetition is the father of remembrance. Okay, you know, and going into these breakdowns, you know them, as the apostles say. Apostle Tahar believes says it as well. This is Genesis 49:20. Out of Asher his breast shall be fat. You know, and he shall yield royal dainties, and them royal dainties, you know, going to them different, you know, foods, man. You know, down there, you know, that's the so-called South Americans, you know, have, man. Okay. You know, the royal dainties and stuff, you know. We talk with some, and they've actually, you know, told me about, you know, some different ones, you know. So, hey, man, just wanted to go into this. Lord willing, it was edifying. I'm going to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, every well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Peace is the Hebrew shalom, so shalom to the elect.